So while Gavin Newsom jets around Europe telling world leaders that Trump is temporary and promising to restart the climate money laundering machine, investigators back home just uncovered something explosive. $5 million in California taxpayer money allegedly funneled directly to an office run by his own wife. Shocker. And now Spencer Pratt and 70 lawyers whose homes burned in the LA fires are coming for him with everything that they've got, and they don't play games. So this isn't just about corruption. This is about the entire Democrat establishment's 2028 presidential plans crumbling in real time. Newsom positioned himself as a climate crusader who would pick up where Biden left off, promising European allies that America would double down on green policies once Trump is gone. But if these allegations stick, his political career is over before it even starts, before it starts for the presidential side at least. We're talking about a sitting governor potentially stealing millions of dollars while his state burns and homelessness explodes. The same guy who wants to be president can't even manage California without allegedly looting the treasury. This could reshape the entire Democrat primary race and expose how deep the corruption runs in blue state politics. But speaking of things that are happening behind the scenes that most people are not paying attention to, breaking tonight, while Wall Street fixates on gold, silver, and headline commodities, there's a strategic metal quietly driving defense policy, military procurement, and geopolitical planning behind the scenes. It's not flashy. Most investors never talk about it, but governments and defense contractors are securing massive stockpiles right now. And as America rebuilds our military superiority and reshores our critical manufacturing, this metal becomes absolutely essential for everything from advanced weapons systems to secure communications networks. The supply chains are controlled by just a handful of countries, and recent geopolitical tensions have defense planners scrambling. Smart investors are positioning themselves in the space before the broader market catches on. And SAGA Metals gives you direct access to invest in the physical metals that powers Americans' national security infrastructure. This isn't speculation, it's strategic positioning for what's coming. I want you to check out SAGA Metals while most investors are sleeping on this opportunity. Now back to Newsom's scandal. So here's what makes this even more damaging. Spencer Pratt, whose Malibu home burned down a year ago? A year and a half ago. It isn't just some random celebrity throwing around accusations. He's assembled a team of 70 lawyers, all fire victims themselves, and they're treating this like a RICO case. They're not just going after the money trail. They're exposing how California's fire prevention budget got directed to pet projects while brush in Topanga went uncleared. The political establishment is panicking because this connects failed governance directly to personal enrichment. Let's get into it, guys. From Wolf of the West, I doubt if it ever gets finished, Gavin Newsom is a piece of ish.
Chugga chugga choo choo.
So I'm here in the Central Valley in Wasco, right near Shafter, and we just made an announcement of our progress here on the high-speed rail system. We're now in the process of starting to lay track, all of the hard work behind us. Now we're going to see the fruits of that. We're going to start seeing precisely what you see here. Real tracks, real progress.
California spent $15 billion to build a train, and Gavin Newsom's bragging about laying down the first track. 16 years later. It's not going to be finished for 20 more years. It'll be 80 once it's done. And it's going to cost over $135 billion. It's on pace to go down as the biggest boondoggle in American history. And Gavin's sitting there with a smile on his face like he just finished the Hoover Dam. Even the Daily Show's laughing at him.
To get back on his feet, Gavin threw himself into his role as mayor, tackling homelessness.
We better solve the housing problem.
And high-speed rail.
We'll be back in 2017 celebrating this completion.
Always yearning for a larger part, Newsom soon landed the role of California's official understudy, Lieutenant Governor. Now he could focus on exciting new projects like ending homelessness and building high-speed rail.
This is the biggest infrastructure project in California's history.
Can you imagine this guy gets his hands on the federal budget? This guy spends like a Kardashian, and he crosses his legs like one.
I was about to comment on that. I was going to say, if I sat like that, I probably wouldn't be able to walk right for a few days. So the opening criticism sets up perfectly for our next tweet, where Elon Musk delivers his own brutal assessment of Newsom's leadership. From Planet of Memes, Elon Musk, Gavin Newsom is like the Joker from Batman, and California... Sorry, so somebody's trying to log in. And California is like Gotham City, where the criminals run the city and the citizens are arrested. Check this out.
Yeah, no. Honestly, he's the goddamn Joker. Gavin Newsom is like from the Batman Dark Knight. The Joker is in charge of Gotham. You remember when he took over New York, basically, and the criminals roam free and the citizens are arrested. That's California.
That's I mean, it couldn't be any clearer than that. I love how Elon Musk can just encapsulate it, wrap it into popular culture, then throw it back in there. But I mean, could you imagine any other politician getting reelected for as many times as Newsom's been reelected over this high-speed rail thing? $15 billion gone. They haven't done anything. And in the clips there, they were showing regular speed trains like Amtrak's or whatever, instead of a high-speed thing. For Musk's scathing comparison, we're seeing this sentiment isn't limited to tech billionaires. Even pop culture icons are piling on. From Sarah Sizzle, just one of the reasons Nicki Minaj is not impressed with Gavin Newsom, and she's not wrong for it.
With Newsom, it's the fact that with everything you said, but then having the audacity to be playing on Twitter, obsessed with Trump, trying to be Trump, trying to be funny when it's not, and then wanting to roll around in the mud with female rappers or whomever and completely missing the plot. That's the thing. You are competing with President Trump, but President Trump is already the president. Get it? He's already done it twice. He's won. Good. Okay.
He's won 3 times. Let's not lie about that. So celebrity critics are one thing, but our next source reveals there might be concrete evidence behind all this anger going towards Newsom. He does look like a bad car salesman. He does like a bad car salesman, or like one of those pastor guys that talks about needing a new G4 jet or something like that. For Mike Netter, Newsom and the Democrat legislature know if the true scale of fraud in California comes to light, his presidential campaign is over. That's why he's pushing legislation to hide high-speed rail records. We've already know about $32 billion in EDD fraud, billions with SNAP, and Medi-Cal things. You see this here. So it looks like $32 billion COVID relief money fraud, $24 billion unaccountable homeless relief, $18 billion in high-speed fraud of track laid, zero track laid, $2.5 billion food stamp fraud, $650 million 911 system that never worked, just like everything else. These guys, they do things that doesn't work and they want the money. Just like if one thing Trump and these guys can do is make sure that when you're giving out federal dollars to California and other states for homelessness, that actually it incentivizes the reduction of homelessness, because they get paid more money when there's more homeless people. So of course, why would they get rid of the people that's giving them so much money? All the NGOs and these nonprofits, they get paid big cash and they give kickbacks to guys like that. But this fraud allegation gives context for why critics like Guy Benson are going nuclear on Newsom's credibility right now. From Gunther Engelman, LMFAO, laughing my butt off. Guy Benson appeared on Fox and obliterated Gavin Newsom for the homelessness that exploded in California under his rule. He is a shape-shifting character. We do know that.
President Obama also made a lot of news this week, and let's just pick this one, and that was on dealing with homelessness.
Morally, ethically speaking, it is an atrocity that in a country this wealthy, we have people just on the streets. But we should also recognize that the average person, doesn't want to have to navigate around a tent city in the middle of downtown. We're not going to be able to generate support for it if we simply say, you know what, it's not their fault, and so they should be able to do whatever they want, because that's a losing political strategy.
Do you think that Gavin Newsom would pick up on that?
I think Gavin Newsom will pick up on anything that he wants to in order to win, right? And he will reshape himself. He is this shape-shifting character, even week to week, based on what he thinks people want to hear. And notice the last few words of that little mini lecture from Barack Obama. And I don't totally disagree with what he said, but he said this is a losing electoral proposition. It's about campaigns, winning or losing. I think what the Hillarys, Obamas, and others of the world, they want their party to win elections by doing what, for example, Democrats in Virginia, like Abigail Spanberger, did. Talk a good game from sort of the center left, emphasize affordability, sound very sensible and somewhat moderate, and then win all the power, and then go hard left and implement whatever they want to do.
Yeah,
that's
she's
the
been
model.
a mystery.
But I think nationally they feel like That's what I'm saying. Yeah, step one is winning the election. Step two is all the left-wing stuff that they want to do. So if they've got a full...
But then everybody's going against Trump right now, who's doing every single thing that he said he was going to do. He does it. They have lists online, check mark, border closed, boom, inflation, boom, all these things that are happening in the right direction. And these Democrats are going to sit there and go back to the same thing that they've been doing forever. Lie to us, see what the polling's doing. And they're only talking about this because the polling is going in a certain direction, knowing that Americans are aligning with Trump right now on inflation, on border security, on the job markets, reshoring manufacturing. Trillions of dollars are flowing into the nation. Our children and our grandchildren are going to be better off for what's happening right now with our current president of the United States. And it's only through his leadership that we are not a defunct nation. Could you go back in time and imagine if Kamala Harris was president right now? We would not be having any of the talks we're having right now. We probably would be eating our pets, just like they're doing in Venezuela. So Benson's character assassination leads us perfectly into the bombshell evidence that could explain why Newsom keeps shapeshifting on the issue. He does look like a shapeshifter. From Wall Street Apes, independent researchers have now found that $5 million was funneled by Gavin Newsom to his wife's office that he created. Just like every other major Democrat out there, they're always feeding it back to their people, their campaign staffers, and their other guys.
Now Spencer Pratt has put Newsom on notice, telling him you're never going to be president, that he has nothing but time for the next 3 years to ensure that it doesn't happen. His team of 70 lawyers, these are his neighbors whose houses burned too, in case you didn't know. They're all working together, and Newsom is the spokesperson for the whole operation. They found the office of the first partner, who is run by Newsom's wife. So instead of clearing the brush in Topanga that would have prevented the fires in the Palisades, they donated their money to themselves. Over $5 million has been donated to the office of the first partner. Again, that's his wife and him. They've been stealing from California. This is just the beginning. This is why I think all of a sudden we have Harris coming out of nowhere saying she's not going to be the governor. She's actually going to run for president, because at the end of this, Newsom could be done. If they are able to get all the information on Newsom out, he may be done. And I love that he told him, dude, I'll make sure you never become president, because it's that whole team of lawyers saying, we'll make sure you'll never become president.
But again, all of these things coming out, all this stuff happening, all this stuff. Where are the arrests? What are you doing, Trump administration? You know Tim Walz was involved. You know all of these people, Mayor Frey was involved in all the corruption and scams and everything else. Why aren't these people in jail? Because they're elected officials? Who cares about the consequences? If they're in the Epstein files, arrest them. We want to see this happen. This is what the American people want. And this $5 million revelation about his wife's office sets up our final tweet about why Newsom's presidential ambitions make this scandal so dangerous. From Wall Street Apes, Gavin Newsom must never become president. Gavin declared at the Munich Security Conference that Donald Trump is temporary, and when he's gone, America will double down on climate policy. He's telling you he's going to restart the unlimited climate change money laundering scam that's been in place for a very, very long time.
Governor Gavin Newsom called on world leaders today to look forward to a future without President Donald Trump. He criticized the administration while on stage at the Munich Security Conference. Newsom was asked specifically about climate policy. He slammed the recent White House reversal of a 2009 ruling on greenhouse gases.
Donald Trump is doubling down on stupid. California has been a leader in climate policy going back to Ronald Reagan. I hope, if there's nothing else I can communicate today, Donald Trump is temporary. He'll be gone in 3 years. California is a stable and reliable partner in
Trump's
this
policies
space.
are going to be here for a lot longer, Newsom.
This is video of top international security leaders arriving at the conference. In addition to Newsom, several other prominent Democrats thought to be considering 2028 presidential runs are also attending to strengthen ties with European allies.
So the timing couldn't be worse for Democrats. Just as Newsom was positioning himself as Trump's eventual replacement, telling European leaders to wait it out, his entire political future is imploding. Kamala Harris suddenly announcing she won't run for governor, but will run for president in 2028? That's not a coincidence, folks. That's rats fleeing a sinking ship of California. The Democrat establishment knows what is coming. So this is why the swamp fears Trump so much, because when America First policies work, it exposes just how corrupt and incompetent these career politicians really are. And while Trump delivers results, guys like Newsom create disasters, then allegedly pocket millions of dollars while their states burn. I had to say allegedly, but California deserves better than a governor who treats the treasury like a personal piggy bank while lecturing the world about leadership. The investigation is just beginning, and if Spencer Pratt and his legal team have their way, Newsom's presidential dreams are over before they start. So tell me this, do you guys think Newsom will survive this scandal? Or is his political career finished? I want to see him in jail if this is real. Let me know in the comments. And while you're down there, guys, check out the Next News merch shop for the latest America First gear. Let's go ahead and check it out.
The system controls information. Information control is power. They don't want you to see this. The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now.